Meanwhile, in the asteroid belt that circulated the barren star system, where this war would eventually commence, a Tier 4 ship, captained by the Commodore of the fleet of the Black Pathos, was currently making their usual runs, scanning the sector for changes in movement, strategizing their next course of action. There, in his office, on board his Tier 4 vessel, hiding within the asteroid belt, Commodore Maltera received a request to come to bridge from his officers. As he stepped out of the throne-like seat, which comprised the office room that he sat in, the large holographic display that filled the center of the room evaporating away as he made his way towards the bridge, exiting the doors of his office onto the bridge itself as the scattered members of his crew completed their duties, dressed in his usual war attire, heavy armor armed with weapons, both blades, as well as a heavy-duty energy weapon equipped to his side, a regal cape extended from fierce-looking shoulder pads, all of his ornaments jet black, going perfectly with the exceptionally dark complexion of his skin, common with those of the Mosei race, along with his overwhelming stature, a man of a thick build, which only added to the frightful nature of his overwhelming stature and form, and the cold look in his eye that tended to give those around him the shivers. "Captain, on deck," one of the members of the crew called out, as everyone stopped what they were doing to turn and salute. "At ease," he said, as he began to approach the captain's chair. "What have you called me for?" he said as he sat down, a flourish of his cloak as he did, ensuring that he wasn't sitting on it. As he took his seat, looking very impatient. "Captain, we've picked up some strange signals in the asteroid belt. They don't match any of the cloak signals or frequencies that any of our ships are using to signal communications. It appears to be something else, some sort of short-range beta wave transmission. It's very subtle. Most likely, no one would ever be able to pick it up if they weren't inside the asteroid belt. It's strange, sir. Sort of an oxymoronic type of signal to send. On one hand, the fact that it's inside of the asteroid belt in short range, only detectable if you get within a certain distance from it, and simply using a beta wave burst, something that might simply be written off as ambient engine energy. But at the same time, it's still too strong for it to really be that. So it's both hidden, yet exceptionally noticeable to anyone who actually travels through the asteroid field. It's oxymoronic, sir. I can't figure it out. At first, I just thought it might be a ship trying to sneak around, until I scanned the signal more thoroughly. It might be some sort of trap, sir. So I thought I should call you to bridge and get your expert opinion. "A wise conclusion," the captain replied. "You're not here to think. You leave that to me. It's clear that this is a tactful maneuver, whether it's a trap or not. If I were to give my best guess, someone is trying to communicate with us. Such tactics are often used when facilitating criminal transactions, good shipment drops. It's commonly known as a dead drop, a way that pirates facilitate these sort of transactions. But in this case, it appears that they're using the same method to try to establish contact. I'd be willing to bet that if we follow that signal, there'll be some sort of transmission. I'd be willing to bet that it's an information docket, a device with pre-recorded information stored on it, simply sending off a signal hoping to be found, zero in on its location, and take us to it immediately, the captain said, as the pilot to the ship began to maneuver his way deeper through the asteroid belt, growing closer to the source of the signal, finally locating it. And just as the captain had suggested, it was a data pod, afloat in the asteroid field. You were correct, sir. We're establishing a signal connection with the data pod now, one of the men behind a console said. Yes, it appears the information isn't even encrypted, sir. It seems to be for whoever finds it. There's a video log recorded into it. Play the video log, the captain said, leaning back into his chair. Let's see who wants to make contact, he said, as he crossed his hands over his lap. And a holographic display began to appear amidst the room, a vibrant array of green light, shuddered as a view screen appeared, and on the other side of it, a man stood on the bridge of another ship. Hello, this is Captain Fremont Darien. I am currently captaining a ship, the basic schematics of which are uploaded onto this video nodule. You'll find the data there. If you're wondering about the purpose of this little hideaway phone call, anyone with a brain should have been able to figure it out before you ever started hearing me talking. I want to cut a deal. I currently find myself indebted to the Brotherhood of Stripes, and thus stuck doing this little quest of theirs. However, I'm not the leash and collar type. That's not my kink. Well, at least not when I'm the one wearing it. Fremont said, laughingly, as he pulled his hair back behind his head, running his fingers through it before staring back into the recording device. Here's the deal. I have access to information, strategic facts, and can work as an operative from this side of the war. That is, if the price is right. Also included within the data nodule, you'll find my regular traffic routes within the system in order to ensure security. If you wish to make contact with me in order to facilitate a bargain, just choose a random spot, anywhere along my travel route, where you might be able to hide yourself away. Something akin to a single shuttle pod. If I see anything full-sized heading my direction, I'm blasting it. So don't get any smooth ideas about attacking me. As far as I know, you only have one ship in your whole fleet that could handle a one-on-one fight with me. And hiding more than one ship ain't gonna be possible. So you'll send a shuttle with something of an ambassador on board. Truthfully, you're honestly just gonna send some nobody goon who's expendable and doesn't know shit. But that's just fine with me. He doesn't need to be smart, he just needs to be able to facilitate a transition of information. We'll use this method to establish a bargain, and how each side of us is gonna fulfill that bargain. In order to be located, the crew member piloting the shuttle should use a shortwave alpha transmission burst as I pass by. I've keyed my sensors up to them. Alpha wave bursts are hard to detect unless you're looking for them. No normal sensors do. Once I receive the transmission of the alpha wave burst, I'll open my dock port, and your shuttle can board, and we can have a little negotiation with your lackey. Work ourselves out a deal. Oh, and I also think that there's a good possibility you might be sitting high and mighty, thinking that this war's already won. But just so you know, your little plan of calling in the Hadrian Minor, it ain't gonna fucking work. They've already got that shit pegged. No matter what you do, that fucking miner will never be able to complete the job, and you'll end up screwed. You see, I'm your saving grace in this war, your only chance of coming out on top. Because the way things stand now, you guys are in for the big screw. So the choice is yours. Believe I'm just shouting noise and ignore me. Run the chances that I'm just bluffing. Or cut a deal and save your ass. Get what you want in the end. The pirate's way. The choice is yours. Terminate signal, Friedmont said as the recording cut out. Sir, what are we going to do, Captain? Do we respond to his message? All of the data that he said would be there is there, but it could be a trap. No, it's not a trap. I've seen his type before. I rather like them. Greed over all. Self-interest over anything else. He's been placed in a strategic position and has a chance to get more out of his bargain than was originally intended. And so, in an act of greed, he's trying to double deal in hopes of getting off from under the Brotherhood and perhaps getting something extra on top of it. Don't be fooled by an accent or a lack of culture, men. That man is a true pirate, the kind that has it in his bones. Ready a shuttle pod. Find a good strategic position to hide and send one of our men with supplies and rations to wait for him. Let's see what this Captain Friedmont has to offer.